Hello, everybody. It is, what day is today? A Tuesday. It is 10:54, and once again, I am here to call out something stupid. The problem here is, in the world we have today, is when stupidity or ridiculous things pop their heads up, nobody wants to address them anymore. So we gloss over them or walk past them and act like they're not there instead of addressing the problem, fixing said problem. Now, last time before this live started and I went on here, I gave you all a warning. I said, hey, if your ears are sensitive to naughty words, because I have to talk like a child at this point for everyone, now is the time to get off. Because I'm probably going to say some things that you may find offensive. Now, see, that's the difference between me and my wife. My wife doesn't use those words. I do. I use those words to allow everybody to understand the severity of the message I'm saying. Are there other words that I could be using? Sure. Yeah, of course there is. But those are the easiest words. Those are the simplest words to get your point across, to go, oh, I know why he's saying those things. He's saying those things because there's anger there. Or he's saying those things because it makes sense. So, last time I also must have said the F word. Now, I tried very hard not to say that word. I use it often when I'm speaking, so it may have slipped out when I said it. You can't hear? Can you hear me now, wife? Wife? Can you hear me now? Yes, no? Last time you told me you couldn't hear me. Everybody could hear me but you. Microphone's on, everything seems to be working. Here, let me see if I can hear myself. It's stuffy? Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can fix this. Let me hear it. Hello? Hello? I'm trying to fix it, guys. Bear with me. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I can kind of hear it. I wonder why it's doing that. Okay, hold on. Hello? Okay, this should be better. Is it better? Yeah, I don't know why.
You have to stick the thing in the phone.
It was, I just unplugged it. So, go check. Go see. Yeah. I took the microphone off. Is it better now? Okay. So, I used that word. I probably shouldn't have used that word. Honestly, I don't remember saying it. But I did. I'm not sorry for it. I used it. So let's move on past that. I was told that to not use any bad words, and I'm going to try very hard not to. So let me get to the point. Okay, so there was a message left under one of wife's videos, and it said this, and it's no longer there, and it's not there because I did anything or I didn't want it there. It wasn't there. It's not there to show you that. Well, after I read it, you'll understand. This is it. I follow you, sis, which, thank you for following my wife. But honestly, your husband should refrain from jumping on your platform using profanities to defend you. Not a good look, especially since this particular message here is about watching what we say. You should explain to him, like I'm a child, to him that when we take a stand for Christ, that we can expect to endure attacks from others. That was out of order on his part. Just saying if you want to be taken seriously. Please consider refraining from allowing him to have free, unabridged access to your channel. Be blessed. Now, There's multiple things in this answer, or in this statement, that I'm going to address here. Multiple, because this is the problem of where we're at now. People pop up their heads, say dumb things, and nobody's there to check them. First of all, this is my wife. As I go, as she goes. If I have something, she has 100% access to it. She can say whatever she wants on it. She could do whatever it is she pleases. If she decides that she doesn't want me on said platform that day, guess what? I don't go on. And it goes the same way. Okay? I will have access to this whenever I feel like it, hence why I'm here. And my wife appreciates that from me. Because I'm here to give you my 2 cents, as not her. I say this to you all the time. I'm not her, so please don't take any of the things that I'm saying as coming out of her mouth. I'm here to address a different view. Okay? And I think that we've all gotten that by now. I thought that we were all here by now where we understood this. And I also, again, said at the beginning of that message, I'm about to use some words that aren't going to be appropriate. So if that offends you, please click off. But no. You decided to stick around. You wanted to hear it. Just so you could have something to say. Now, when people are up in the pulpit saying all sorts of wild things that may not be cuss words but are completely out of bounds, are you doing the same thing? Are you standing up and leaving a comment and saying, hey, pastor, that's out of bounds? I highly doubt you do, because anonymously now we all feel like we have this cloak of invisibility where we can say anything we want and it goes unchecked. I'll always be here to check it. Again, if a man ever comes for my wife, I don't care what, if we're in the online, if we're in public, wherever we are, I will always come and defend her. And I will always use inappropriate words to do it. And if you don't have somebody in your life that's willing to do that for you, I feel bad. I feel sorry for you. Actually, I'm going to pray for you to have somebody in your life that will do that. Everybody that calls themselves Christian nowadays feels as if they can stick their 2 cents in, and when in reality, there's no one perfect. You took from that message the naughty words I was using and threw the rest away. That's what we did. We took the words I said, and I didn't say very many. We'll say I used, and I'll be generous, 20 times. And that's being generous. So you took that message that I said, which was very important message, and you threw it away and said, if you want to be taken seriously, you shouldn't have your husband on here saying terrible words. Instead of addressing the thing that I actually said, the point that I was actually making, you took the baby and just whipped it out with the bathwater. When in reality, I know every day you're out there doing something you shouldn't be doing. You have the audacity to call out me. This is the problem again, Christians. We're busy pointing the finger at everyone else instead of taking accountability for our own stuff. What this person should have did, 2001, fighting for my faith. You should have taken that message, said, you know what, I didn't approve of the language that was used, but the message was spot on. No, instead, you want to say, if you want to be taken seriously, now trust me, my wife is taken very seriously. That message should have been at me. You should have addressed that message correctly. So now we're doing all these things and pointing fingers at the messengers of everybody, but we're not taking in the message anymore. The message goes right out the window. Because you want to act offended over something I said, and then basically do the same thing as what I was accusing, or what, not that I was accusing, that I was pointing out in the other video. You literally did the same thing, although I think you're a woman, because I hope you're a woman. This is kind of phrased as women talk. Because women, you guys like to give slight, underhand shots, very vaguely. And that's where if you want to be taken seriously, that's a little shot. When in reality, she's taken very seriously by very many people but you. So you have a choice in these situations. You can choose to walk away, not listen, unfollow, skedaddle, and that's fine. You should. Or you go, you know what? There's a message in this. I may not like the direct approach of it, but it's there. And at least there's men standing up having something to say. At least there's men out there that are finally putting their foot down and saying enough is enough. Now their direct approach may be rough, and maybe over time that'll soften and get easier. But you women don't do that. You gentlemen don't do that. You take the whole entire message and whip it right out the window. But yet I know for a fact that when you're sitting in church or wherever you are, you're not doing this in real life. You have your invisibility cloak on. And when you have your invisibility cloak on, you feel comfortable to say all sorts of wild and crazy things. Unfortunately, we've gotten to this place where nobody's addressed this. Where you won't say things in public, you won't make a public stance, you won't even make a video about it. You'll send a low-hanging message on a YouTube video that wasn't even on the original video that it was posted. It was on some random video. People, ladies, gentlemen, there are going to be lessons to be learned in the worst scenarios. There are going to be lessons learned with people using terrible, horrible, awful language. Not like I did. Oh, no. I just said a couple of bad words. And maybe the F word was a little over the line, and I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have curtailed that one. I don't honestly remember using it. I'm sure I did. But to miss the entire message over that one word is sad. That means that everything you're hearing that doesn't go with exactly the way you want it to sound, you close your ears to. Somebody could tell you, hey, I know the way to get $1 million, but within this way, I'm going to say a whole bunch of F words. You're going to miss that money? You're going to miss that trail to go get it? Because essentially, knowledge is almost the equivalent of having that in your pocket. I tell my children this all the time. Knowledge is worth more than any bit of wealth you could consume in a day. So you may want to sit home, watch TV, play video games, blah, 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 instead of going to school, but that gets you nowhere. Going into school, putting the work in, learning will bring you everything. May not be right this second, but down the road eventually, it will accumulate you wealth. And wealth doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. So, again, are you standing up in church when you're hearing these things being said that are the equivalent of cuss words? Men should marry men. Men can have babies. Love is love. All those things. Are you standing up and making the comment, the same comment in real life? Are you doing any of those things? Are you making a stand? Is the man in your life standing up and saying, "Okay, enough is enough. This is what needs to stop"? Is he taking the time out of his day to go, you know what? This is wrong. I'm going to take time out of my life to try to correct it. If you aren't, you can keep your comments to yourself. Which I'm pretty sure you're not. So, it has been, 15 minutes? Yes, the F word was absolutely 100% wrong. And was on me. And wife, when I'm wrong, and you can let everybody know right now, when I'm wrong, do I take responsibility for being wrong? Or do I avoid it? Go ahead, let everybody know. Do I avoid it? So anyway, that was my 15-minute rant on that. From here on out, when things go wrong, I will stand up and I will say something, because how can I hold anybody accountable around me that's not standing up for wrong when wrong things happen? How can I possibly be able to look myself in the face and say men need to take more accountability if I'm not willing to take accountability and stand up when I see something wrong happen? This was a short little one. I have to get back to work. Oh, when men address... Yeah. When men address situations, you're not always going to get the prettiest language. That's not how this works. Actually, when I got off, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought I did a great job. I'm like, wow, I was really mild there. I really thought I was going to say some real crazy stuff, and I didn't, and I was proud of myself. And especially when I give you a warning and I say, hey, this might go this way. So just before I start talking, if it does, please understand that and click off now. And for somebody to go, no, I'm going to listen. But then after I listen, I'm going to take everything you said, throw it out the window, and bring up the fact that you said bad words. And you shouldn't defend your wife. That comes with being a Christian. How dare you? How dare you? If you want to be taken seriously, says the person that is just random off the street, never probably made not any sort of video about anything, but has something to say here, which really blew my mind. I think that's the real one. That's the real crux of the issue here, is that you're here, you admit that you follow, you admit that you listen, but then say if you want to be taken seriously. Does your husband get up here and do these things? Do you get online and do you say anything? No. So I think that was the real one. That was the real that one sentence. That's what really got me. Because here you already admitted that you follow her, which means that you do take her seriously. You just wanted to slide something in there to try to poke at me through her, instead of addressing the video where it should have been addressed. You brought it up on a separate video, and this is the modern Christian. Not, hey, I really loved the last message you sent, your husband did, but he used some pretty foul language, but I appreciate the message. This is the modern Christian. Not trying to lift each other up, busy tearing down. Not trying to say, hey, I thank you for making these videos. I know it probably takes a lot. No. It's, if you want to be taken seriously, you shouldn't just give him access. Even though the things I say make perfect and valid sense to normal day people, which you would want to reach every day. These are the people you should be trying to reach out to. The people that talk that way. Who did Jesus hang around? He hung around the foul-mouthed, the criminal, the lowlifes, the homeless, the prostitute, the drug dealer. That's who he hung around. These are the people that you should be trying to reach. And if they talk this way, then that's just, you accept them for who they are in the season that they're in. You don't go, oh, he shouldn't have access to this. He shouldn't be saying this because he talks naughty. Like I'm a child. especially when he's giving a message that actually hits to the point of what's going on today. And I made sure that I apologized to everybody at the end of that video and said, hey, I know I used some language maybe that was out of bounds, but and I'm sorry for that. Anyway, I have a family to feed, and I'm sitting here talking to y'all. Hello, Kiva? I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. My wife is much better than that. Much better than me. Megaboo Plants. That's new. Ashley. I see Ashley from time to time. How are you all doing today? It's just, I'm to the point right now that I'm no longer going to allow, I'm going to start calling out these so-called Christians. These so-called Christians that, this person right here that I'm talking about, this is the same person that's talking bad about the girl who first walks into church whose dress is too short. That's who this person is. This person's talking and having something to say about the kid who's sagging his pants, but at least he's at church. That's who this person is. And I'm sure you could come up with 100 different other scenarios of who this person is. And I'm no longer going to let these things slide anymore. I'm trying very hard to hold myself accountable for situations. So if I'm holding myself accountable for situations, I'm going to start holding everybody else accountable for theirs. So if you're leaving stupid messages, I'm going to start addressing it. Because maybe if I do, you might take a look in the mirror and you might not hold to it. But at least there'll be one time where you might try to hold yourself accountable before you go off and say something stupid. And then turn around and call yourself a Christian. I see Christianity as a little different, I think, than most. I see Christianity as reaching out to the person who's doing wrong and wants to change and saying, come as you are. Leave all the other stuff behind. That's cool. Because guess what? That's what my wife did for me. She knew who I was. She knew what I got into. And you know what she said? I don't care about all that. You're going to stop doing that because I see bigger things in you and I am going to marry you. And this is where it led me today. Now, mind you, I shortened that up a whole lot. But if I'm going to call myself a man of Christ, along with a bunch of others that I know because I listen to them, and they aren't always exactly poignant in their language, then I'm going to start acting like it and calling out ridiculous things when I see them. If I want my son to walk a certain way, I need to lead him there. It's like walking in the snow. I'm looking out the window right now, and there's a ton of snow out there. And if I want my son to be able to get to where he's got to go cleanly, I walk in the snow first. I get dirty. I get wet. So he can follow in my footsteps and get to where he needs to be cleanly. So I'm going to start walking through the snow. And if there's other men that want to follow behind me, that's awesome. If not, I'm more than comfortable taking the walk on my own. I've never been scared before in my life about taking a chance. Not ever. I've never not worried. I've never worried about calling someone out over repercussions. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I came into that video saying what I might say right now is going to be wrong. And everybody understood that. And I know for a fact that the person listened all the way through. Because I'm pretty sure I dropped that F-bomb somewhere towards the end. Maybe this will encourage other husbands to speak up for their wives. Yes, and not just speak up for their wives, but speak up for their beliefs. Speak up to the things that are going on around them. We got to this place right now that we're in. If you look around and you see all the craziness going on around us, it's because men allowed it to happen. Because they didn't say anything. They go, oh, you know what? I'm busy. I have a wife and a family to raise. I don't have time to address the ridiculousness. If you want to do the ridiculousness, do it over there where I can't see. Other than that, I'm good. You know, I've said 100 times, more than that. I've said 1,000 times, what you do behind your closed door is none of my business. But in reality, it is my business. Because eventually it spills out into the street. And then my children have to see it. And then when my children see it, nobody addresses it. They think it's okay because dad's not saying anything, so it must be okay. Because it's different when mom says something. I see it in my own home. My wife can tell my kids to do their homework 100 times. And yeah, they'll grab their paper, they'll put it down, they'll grab a pencil, put it near the paper. But, you know, they're doing this and doing that. When I come in and say, do your homework, it's immediate sit down. Oh, I'm at least going to pretend I'm doing my homework. And that's where we've gotten. To not just stand up for your wife, but stand up for who you or what you believe in. What do you take a stand in this world? What are your boundaries? Where are your lines? And when somebody gets close to that line, not cross it, close to it, are you going to stand up and say, hey, there's that line. This is mine. Do not cross it. Because most of the time, they won't cross it. They'll act like they will. They'll be loud like they will. They'll wave their hands. You know who the weakest man in the room is? It's always the loudest. The loudest man is always the weakest in the room. They have to put on a show of that they're the biggest. But the minute they come across somebody that says, hey, listen, I'm quiet. This is my line. Don't step over it. You step over that line, we're going to have issues. That line never gets crossed. This is where I'm at now. I've drawn a box around myself and my family. These are the things that I stand for in this box. Don't cross this line. Don't bring any of these things around. If you do, I will address it. I will address it in public. I will address it online. I will address it in private. However it is you want to address it, I'll address it that way. Let's see. Kayla. How you doing, Kayla? I didn't say hello to you. Wow, you guys had a lot to say. Megaboo must be Megan. Okay, yep. Okay, it's Meg. Okay, I thought so. After I saw a couple of sentences, I'm like, oh, Megan speaks like this. And that's the thing, is that, you know, Megan said, come on, man. And do you know how long it took me to get here? I think I just reached here like 2 days ago, like a couple weeks ago, where I said, okay, you know what? This is enough. I've had enough. I'm going to start standing for the things I believe in and not saying what goes on when your door is closed. It isn't my business. It absolutely 100% is my business. And if I know for a fact there'll at least be 2 men in this world that are like that, because I will make sure I raise my son that way. I said to my son yesterday, it was me and him alone. We were spending some alone time together. I was working. He was sitting down listening to some music. And I said, hey, buddy, what happens if somebody offers you $100 to wear a dress? Do you put that dress on? No, Dad. Okay. What happens if somebody offers you $1,000 to put a dress on? Would you put it on? No, Dad. Buddy, you don't have to, listen, mom's not here, nobody's here, you don't have to, you know, if you think you would put the dress on for $1,000, you can tell me. No, No, I wouldn't. Well, what if somebody offered you $1 million? No. Why not? I said, why? Why wouldn't you do it? It's $1 million. And he looked at me. And it took him a second. Kind of trying to, I seen the thoughts running through his head. And he said, because that's not how I was raised. And I feel like it's wrong in my heart. And I said, you know what that feeling is in your heart, dude? That's your morals. Those are your morals in your heart. And you always make sure you stand on those. Those are what's going to get you through, and you're going to have a lot of people that have something to say about your morals. And you're going to have a lot of people that try to buy your morals. And there's nothing more disgusting than a man who sold his morals for stuff. Because I've had stuff. Actually, my wife gets aggravated with me sometimes because before we got married, I had things, and I realized, oh, these things aren't important. They actually come and go. So I don't need them anymore. They're nothing. It's just stuff. And a lot of times stuff complicates your life, makes it harder than what it actually is. You find that you're busy trying to keep your stuff more than you are trying to grow. So I know for a fact there'll be at least 2 men in this world that will stand up and have something to say for his morals. Now, his delivery might not be perfect. And I'm going to try real hard to sharpen his blade a lot sharper than mine so that he can get it across a better way. Because that's what a man does. He tries to take the generation that's below him and lift them up higher than where he is. He's not busy trying to push them down. I'm not sitting here on this live, sitting here and talking to you to try to keep you all down. I'm trying to put you all up higher than me. Take what I'm telling you and add to it, build to it, and get yourself higher than I am. Because guess what? When that happens and you're higher than me, you can reach down and pull me up. You can reach down and make sure I get to your level, and that's how you build. We don't build by tearing each other down and pushing each other down and leaving stupid comments over things that were a good message over ridiculous nonsense. That's not how you grow. That's not how you get better. You get better by going, I learned something today. I didn't like the exact delivery of it, but I learned something. I'm going to add my own spin to it, and I'm going to pull the next person up with it. If there's anything I ever learn, I always make sure I share it. Hey, wife, did you know? I do it all the time, even when I don't learn new things. I say, hey, wife, did you know? Blah, 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 blah. And if you didn't know it, listen to what I'm telling you, look it up, read about it. Or don't, because, whatever. Some of it's just stupid random knowledge. But I can promise you my wife will never be the dumb one at the party. She'll always be able to engage in any sort of conversation. Because you grow when you learn. Men don't argue with women. I've never seen not one man worth his salt sit there and argue with a woman, especially one that's not his wife. I don't even like to argue with my own wife. A lot of times what I do when there's arguments, and she'll attest to this, I leave. I walk away. I just bail out. And then I come back and I say, you know what? I'll give it 5-10 minutes, and I come back and I'll say, you know what? You're right. I was wrong. Because it's not even worth arguing about. There's so many things you know what? This isn't even worth the argument. So here, you can have you're right. I'm sorry. You can have that. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. If I'm not doing that with my wife, why would I do it with a random woman I don't know? So you mean to tell me I'm going to spend my time that I could be dedicating towards my wife and family arguing with you? Let's say I'm a single man. You mean to tell me that I am blowing my time arguing with you instead of putting forth more effort into fixing my own stuff that I got going on around me so I can get a wife and a family? Do you know what I would have given as a single man to have the knowledge that I have now to better prepare myself for when I had a family? Having a better savings, learning better financial habits, learning more better communication skills, things like that I could have learned as a single man instead of arguing with some random woman that I don't know. And more than likely, you're just arguing with everybody because that's just who you are. Instead of addressing things and working on them and within yourself, you're busy arguing your point to them. So that way you can be lazy and not have to do any work. These women nowadays, they dress like women. They dress like they run around with purses and fingernail paint and makeup and skirts they putting on women's drawers. Like, we've gotten so out of pocket because men aren't standing up and saying, hey, this needs to stop. This has to come to an end. And I can't no longer sit back and call myself working on being a better man if I'm not addressing these things from here on out. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's you're dressing like a woman. I don't care if it's that you like men. I don't care if it's you like women. I don't care. I'm no longer going to idly stand by and watch it happen and watch the world around me collapse without me at least saying, I tried to be a pillar to hold this world up. And if another man sees me doing it and going, oh, he's doing it, it's okay for me to do it. And then he starts doing it, and then the next man starts doing it, and then it becomes something we could work with. Yes, my son is solid. My son is being raised a lot differently than I was. And I'll tell you what, there will be no, I need to question my morals to please other people. If you're in a situation where you need to question your morals to make the people around you happy, then guess what? It's time for you to remove yourself from that situation. And either put yourself in the middle of people that are like-minded, or put yourself by yourself, because there's nothing wrong with being alone. We've come to this point in life where we feel like we need friends constantly, people that are around us, so we'll put up with anything, just so we have someone to talk to. I don't care what the situation. I'm not going to put myself around people that don't see the world the same way I do, and change who I am for them. How you doing, Stevie J? Steve J. So I don't know if anything I've said. I said it more like 30 minutes ago. I wasn't going to be on here that long. But gentlemen, please, I am begging you. Stand up for what you believe in. Hold people around you accountable, even if it's people that you don't know, and you see them off, starting to wander off the wrong path. At least try to pull them back in. It doesn't always work, and a lot of times you walk away feeling like what you're doing isn't working or doesn't help anybody, but it's not true, because it's helping you. You know what you did. You can say, you know what? I tried to pull this person up with me today. They didn't want to come. That's on them. But at least you put the work in to try. Don't give up. Don't give up because it seems like what you're saying is falling on deaf ears. Because it's not. You at least know what you're doing. And you can have pride in what you're doing. There's always a way to work on situations to better yourself. You don't have to worry about the people around you. A man who knows who he is and what he stands for, that's a real man. A man who's not willing to sell himself for the things that he wants, that's a real man. We've been told all of a sudden that money makes you a real man. Having a Benz makes you a real man. Having a nice car makes you... I've had all those things. And guess what? I was nowhere close to the man that I am today. And I'm nowhere even close to the man that I want to be. I still have a lot of work to do. So I'm not sitting here telling you something because I'm way up high, because I'm not. I'm not. I'm telling you as a flawed man who wakes up every day and says, if I can be 1% better than the person I was yesterday, I've made progress. If I can be 1% better as a husband, 1% better as a father, and 1% better as an overall man, I'm making progress. I don't need a fancy car to tell people that I'm a man. I don't need to flash money to show people I am a man. And at one point in time, I thought that's what a man was supposed to do. My wife, when we were dating, we told this story before, but I want to give you a little glimpse into what I was thinking. Okay, and my wife doesn't know this either, and this will be the first time she's hearing this. When we were dating, okay, she would come over to my house, and I would say, "Hey, if you need money, go in my pocket, take what you need." Now, you would think, oh, that's him being a good guy. No. That wasn't what that was. That was, go in my pocket and see how much money I have. See what a man I am. And all that money I was making was all ruining other people's lives. Now, I told you this before, I never sold drugs. I don't do that. I had something going on like with drugs, but I was many steps removed from it, but that wasn't even my main source of income. So I wasn't a drug dealer or anything like that, but it still was destroying people's lives. And I go, hey, go in my pocket and take what you need, because that's what I thought a man was. Then when I get married and lose all that money and have to try to still call myself a man and not able to, I'm falling apart in shambles because I'm no longer a man in my eyes anymore. I lost my manhood when I lost the money. I lost my man. Do you hear how crazy that sounds? How wild that is? I lost my manhood when I lost my money, to me, in my eyes. And I was ready to kill myself. I had it. I was 100% okay going to bed and waking and not waking up. Please let that happen to me. Little did I know I had to lose all those things to gain. Little did I know I had to lose everything to learn what a real man actually was. Anyway, I hope at least you learned one thing in this situation. I hope that everybody has a great day. I hope that you all find yourselves in an awesome situation today. If anybody has any sort of anything they want to ask for, or any questions they want to ask, now's the time to do it. Steve said, folks don't realize money cannot fix deeply spiritual or moral issues. They use it as makeup. It's makeup. And you are exactly right. They use, and even people in the church, I learned that it's the ones that give the most money always are the ones that are the worst off spiritually. Even in the church, they try to find a way to buy their way into it. All right. And I never went in there and took the money either. No, she didn't. Yeah, no, not true. Not true, wife. One time you went in there and you took $20. That was it. $20. I'm like, geez, really? Yes, money causes the issues. It really, and until we're all ready, morally and spiritually, when we're ready to handle it, we'll get it. But a lot of times, look at all these people that hope to hit the lotto and hope to get rich off the get rich quick stuff, crypto and blah blah blah. If God wanted you to have that, He would have had it by now. But He knows that you're going to fall apart the minute you get it. The minute you get it, you are going to destroy yourself. Money is so hard. When you have it, it's so hard to control because it literally turns you into someone. I don't even know the person who I was when I had money. I don't even know that guy anymore. That guy, I look back sometimes and am embarrassed of the way I acted, the superiority that I thought I had over the next person. Money was my God. Money was what I was married to. Because if I don't have it, then who am I? If I don't have it, then what? Then what? I'm no longer a man. I no longer can function throughout society because I can't hold myself high and look low on everyone. What do I do then? And I'll tell you what I did. I thought about killing myself. It was more important to me than my own life. I was more than willing to leave children and a wife behind because of the way I felt inside about me that wasn't even reality. It wasn't even true. Yeah, and Steve, I listen, Steve. I don't even like money like that anymore. Do I like to have it to pay my bills and feed my family and take care of the things that I need to take care of? Absolutely. But if you gave me a choice right now between my own life or money, I would take my own life in a minute. I would say I'd rather live than have this money. At one point in time, be like, oh, give me the money. I'll die when, you choose. Steve, I hope I see you more on these lives. We do them quite often. I'm always in the mix with my wife. She's usually the one that does it. I hope to see you more often. There needs to be men that gather together more often to be able to, keep everything together. I was going to say to shepherd the sheep. That's what I was really going to say. But I hope everybody goes off, has a great day, and I hope to hear from each one of you soon. God bless everyone. Ah.